Speaking of one championship, they had a great event this past weekend, Friday night on Amazon Prime. They are back once again with another event. Let me just pull it up here. It is coming up on Friday night on Amazon Prime. It's One Championship 15. Tan Lee in the main event. It's an interim lightweight championship main event. There it is. John DeBella against Danielle Williams. Also for the flyweight title. In kickboxing, in the co-main event, we have Mikey Musamichi, Darth Rigatoni, New York Rick's favorite fighter, going up against Shinya Aoki. What a fun grappling match that's going to be. I mean, that is just tremendous stuff. Timofey Nastayukin against Li Peng Zhang. Joshua Paccio on the card as well. So that's this Friday evening from Bangkok, Thailand at 8 p.m. on Amazon Prime.
No pop from Rick on the Zoom for Darth Rigatoni.
I wasn't aware that he was on the Zoom.
Oh, yeah, he's on the Zoom. No pop at all, man. Didn't even flinch when he heard it.
I specifically said it to get the pop.
That's your guy, Rick.
It's more the nickname, but yes, I do love the Darth Rigatoni. And especially when Ariel says it.
Darth Rigatoni.
He only says Rigatoni. He doesn't say Rigatoni.
Yeah, you leave off the E on the end.
Man.
Proper.
By the way, New York Rick losing so much weight, now he's lost his beard? What's going on over here?
I'm saying, looking thin.
What is happening? Now you're looking...
I don't know if those things...
By the way, you're looking like circa 2013 New York Rick. All you need is a little shape up and the line in your hair, and like you're good to go.
I mean, it's possible. Who knows? Maybe I will go back to that hair.
Oh, the bun. Frank remembers the bun.
No. It would go the other way. I'd shave it. I wouldn't grow it out like that again.
I'm even shocked that Frank knew about the bun.
Wow.
Well, I mean,
after Paolo, that's done now. We're done with that for
you
good.
had the bun with. Yeah, sorry, my bad.
I was about to say, did he not have the bun?
Yeah, I forgot about that. Wow, it feels like it was so long. That was just a year ago. Yeah, that's my bad.
It is 2024 according to you.
Did you go to Frank's barber for the beard? What happened, or was this your decision?
No, I just shaved my beard. It was getting cool. It was getting cool again, and I was like, oh yeah, I can get into this. Then it got hot again, and I was like, oh god, I'm just gonna trim this.
Yeah, that's weird.
But yeah, not a lot of thought. It was just a shave.
Frank, where do we stand on Beardgate?
I'm waiting for it to grow back out.
Oh, is that it?
Probably by the end of the week.
Oh wow, are you going to a new guy?
Oh yeah.
Or gal?
Yeah.
Do you prefer?
Haven't picked them out yet.
Do you prefer a guy working on the beat or a gal?
I'm indifferent.
I've actually had more success with girl, believe it or not. You would think the guy would know because, guys have beards, but I've had better success with female barbers with the beard as opposed to male barbers. I find male barbers are a little less attentive. They kind of cut corners. You know what I'm saying?
You pay them to do that.
You pay them to cut corners?
Yeah, on your beard. They line you up.
Fucking hell, Frank, you're so fucking... Oh, God. Sorry, I said I was not going to swear in there. I mean,
there you go. There's our age restriction.
It's God. It was just so good. How are you so quick?
I just bring it out of you.
How are you so quick? Unbelievable. Speaking of which, let's get right to it. Time now for everyone's favorite segment of the week. It is time. Yeah.
It's time for a good old-fashioned Q&A.
Frank is on fire. Do. Frank is on fire. Do. Frank is on fire.
Ariel Helwani.
No.
From the Vox Studios.
I don't mean on fire literally. I mean figuratively, Frank. Come on.
Here he is.
Okay, I can't wait to get into this. It's been a while since we did On the Nose on the back end, and now I'm actually starting to remember why I moved it to the front end, if you catch my drift. Christian Juarez leads us off. Hello, MMA Hour friends. Question, with Tyson signing a fight against Oleksandr Usyk, would you and the gang say that this takes away hype from the Tyson versus Ngannou fight? Seems like Tyson won't try anymore. Oh, what a hot tag. Let me just get the string out here and accept the hot tag. I'm so happy that you bring this up. And we kind of fumbled the ball on Monday by not talking about this, but in our defense, Monday was a crazy, crazy day. When I saw this news come out on a Friday afternoon, I was baffled. I was blown away. I couldn't believe it. And initially what I felt was if I'm Francis Ngannou, am I extremely disrespected right now? Is that the way I'm feeling? Do I feel like this is a slight against me? Because that's how I was feeling on his behalf. So what I did was I reached out to Francis and his team and I was like, hey, am I off base here or is this the right sentiment? And they confirmed with me that I was feeling the right way. Now, it's up to them to channel that and use that as motivation to shock the world and all that stuff. But I can't believe that everyone involved did this. Number one, from the moment this Tyson Fury versus Francis Ngannou fight was announced, at least to the boxing public, because I think the MMA public was a lot more receptive to it. From the moment it was announced on the boxing and sporting side of things, and I know particularly on the boxing side of things and in the UK, because I listened to Talk Sport and all that stuff, and they can't shit on that fight enough, right? We as a public have had to warm up to the idea of the fight, right? We have had to say, okay, no, it is going to be a real fight. Remember initially Eddie Hearn told us, no, it's not going to be like a fully pro-sanctioned fight. It's going to be an exhibition with no knockdowns. No, there are knockdowns, there are knockouts, there are 3 judges, there is a referee, it is going to be scored, there is going to be a winner, and we've had to like almost warm up to it, and they've had to educate the world and educate the public and the sports fans out there that, no, this is a legit thing. This is for the baddest man on the planet crown. Yes, it's 10 rounds. No, there's not going to be a belt at stake, and definitely not now. But still, this is bigger. This is the lineal MMA champion against the boxing champion, the lineal boxing champion, right? And now all you've done is tell people that, no, this is just the tune-up. This is the tune-up that you thought it was. This is the exhibition that you thought it was. I don't feel that way. I know for a fact that Francis and his team are going to go in there and shock the world, and I know what you all are saying. Number one, you're saying he has no chance, so who cares? Again, disrespectful. Number two, you're saying there's no belts on the line, so who cares? So you're telling me if Francis Ngannou knocks out Tyson Fury on October 28th, he's fighting Usyk? That fight still has luster? No, it doesn't. They don't have a date. They have the venue, or at least they have the location. Why not wait until October 28th? Why not do what we've seen so many times, what is usually done? Fight ends, there's a winner, Tyson Fury, throw to the video package, and next, it's the one you've truly been waiting for. Why did it have to happen on September 30th or whatever that date was? What was the point? What was to gain? No tickets. Now, if it's some sort of PR thing or just to get people on board with, hey, Tyson is actually going to defend belts and he is going to fight, and this is the one that you want, sure. But we've already crossed the Francis Bridge. We've already come to terms with that fight happening. Why did you have to take all the luster away? Because I feel like the luster has been taken away. I feel like the stakes have been diminished. I feel like Francis has been disrespected. I would love to have Tyson on the show and ask him these questions. I would love to have Frank Warren on the show and ask him these questions, although the last time we had him on the show, or at least invited him on the show, he canceled at the last minute, but I was told that he was dealing with some health things, so he is still invited on the show. I would love to have anyone involved on the show, but I know in speaking to Francis's team that they feel some sort of way about this. Are they showing up on the 28th of October? Absolutely. Are they going to use this as motivation? Are they going to try to shock the world? Absolutely. But I think what it says to the public is, hey, you wanted the Usyk fight, you're getting the Usyk fight. This is just the, this is just the one that gets us there. Or maybe we couldn't get it done in time and he was fighting Dubois and who knows what else. I feel like, no, when people are going to say, oh, yeah, when this guy was fighting that guy, Triple G had a fight coming up. We knew that he was supposed to fight Kovalev, this and that. It was never officially announced like that. It was sometimes rumored. It was sometimes discussed. It was sometimes bandied about, whatever. But there was never a poster and an official announcement where everyone involved, including the Saudi officials, say yeah, this is a done deal. It's signed. And now this is the one for the baddest man on the planet. Which one is it? So yeah, that I was bummed to see that. By the way, don't get me wrong. I am thrilled that fight is happening. I can't wait to see that fight. It's going to be great. It's what boxing needs. It's what the heavyweight division needs, and everything else is going to fall into place afterwards at heavyweight. This is the fight that had to have happened. This is the one. But I'm cool with waiting 24 more days for it to be officially announced. By the way, I was cool with it being reported that, hey, if Tyson Fury wins, it's happening. But I just think that the announcement and the way it was rolled out was deflating. Am I wrong, guys? New York Rick, what do you think about this? Am I off? Because people are going to come back and say, oh, he has no chance. There's no belts on the line. This has been done before. Oh, what, once? Twice? It's not common. Again, reported, rumored. That's a little bit more common. We know who's next. We knew that, I don't know, in when I don't know, when this guy fought this guy's next. Like, this happens all the time. But announced like this for 24 days. Well, now not 24 days, 28 or so days, 4 weeks before the fight that we've had to been sold on. Like, we had to get warmed up to it. We had to actually have come around to it, and they have had to educate us on its legitimacy. And then you come back and then you ruin all that work. Now you've just told everyone, nah, the real one is coming up in either December 23rd, if that's even possible, or by the end of Riyadh season, which is March. What was the point? Am I wrong? Agree or disagree?
No, you're right. And I think I said it in our group text, like when it happened, that Tyson Fury is typically smarter than this. Tyson Fury is typically like raising the stakes of his fights, and giving opponents who people might say, oh, he's already beaten them and it's a rematch. And he kind of elevates his opponents. He makes sure that what he's selling is a good fight, and he's typically very mindful of that. So this feels completely out of left field and astray from how he usually handles that. The only possible thing I can think of is if in his mind he's kind of seeing the buzz and kind of seeing the attention and feeling like nobody cares about the fight and doesn't think it's going to be competitive, and thought to himself, if I line this up, maybe there's a way that Francis Ngannou will get interest or attention as playing spoiler. Now, I'm giving Tyson Fury a lot of credit here, but I will say there's a history of him kind of understanding the promotion of this and elevating the opponents. So that's the only thing I can think of. Otherwise, it does feel like a diminishment of the fight. And now, will that storyline matter? Will that storyline sell more pay-per-views? Maybe not, but I also could see a world where now all of a sudden people are saying, yeah, he is disrespecting Francis. Yeah, Francis is going to be the one who upsets it, and kind of tune in for that basis. So maybe there's a method to the madness, but it does feel odd. It does not feel in place with both Tyson Fury's history and how these fights are typically announced.
And by the way, I can't overstate this enough. If this was announcing that Joshua Fury was going to happen after Fury Usyk, I actually would have, appreciated it more if they would have, framed it like this. If Tyson Fury wins on X day against Oleksandr Usyk, the one that you've always wanted to see is going to happen. But it's a big if, but we have come to terms on a deal to do Fury Joshua. But this is the fight that you've had to explain to people is the real fight. You know what I mean? Like when Fury and Ngannou was first announced, people were like, "What?" I'm talking about on the boxing and regular sports side of things. I think MMA has always been kind of excited about it. And now all that work that you've done since you officially announced this fight a couple months ago is pretty much out the window because you just told people, "Oh, don't worry about it. The real fight, the one that you've all been complaining about and wanting, is coming up in a few months' time. Just let us get over with this one, and then he's going to win, and then he's going to go on." Like there's the suspension of disbelief is gone, the intrigue is gone, the stakes are gone. Now I'm fine, I'm good, I'm down, I'm going to watch it, I'm excited about it, we're going to talk about it. I think we don't take ourselves as seriously as perhaps some other people when it comes to these things, but I just can't imagine that they would do this. I can't believe that they would do this. I was blown away, and I felt some sort of way about it, and that's why I reached out to Francis. Like maybe he knew all along. And maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe I'm being, a little bit, hyperbolic here. Maybe I'm being a little bit too dramatic. And no, the confirmation that I got was, no, you're on the right side of the argument here, at least from their perspective.
Is there not a point to what I'm saying, though, that now this is a storyline? That now this is something to
we've made that
leverage?
Storyline. They haven't made that storyline. We made this. We'll do their work for them and create that storyline. But the story,
so maybe that works though.
You think that was their intention?
Listen, I'm willing to if it was, I'll give them credit for it. If it wasn't, now it becomes one.
It becomes one for Francis.
Yeah, and Francis needs one. Francis in this fight was being counted out, and this is another example of it happening. And I think he needs this. I think he needs to be disrespected. I think that is the most interesting part of this entire fight, is that he has no chance. Man, and we're gonna see.
People are disrespecting old Francis.
Yeah.
They're really disrespectful.
I think that is the best thing that could happen for him.
So you
Because
like this move then, Rick?
Look, I like the fallout from it. I like the outcome from it. It'd be hard. Like I'm not Tyson Fury and I'm not in Tyson Fury's camp. I don't know what the objective was here other than to kind of announce a fight, but it makes it more compelling in my opinion. Like the idea that Tyson Fury is saying, I'm stepping over this guy. I don't give a shit. Like he's not going to upset me. I got plans. That's interesting to me. It'd be a lot more interesting than if it was just like, yeah, we're at the fight and Francis Ngannou has no chance and there's nothing more to it. Like, that's interesting. Tyson Fury potentially taking his eye off the ball. Interesting.
I don't know. If that is truly what happened here, then it just feels like, okay, Tyson's calling all the shots. And I understand this was all like, but like
he is calling all the shots.
I know, but suspension of disbelief.
He bequeathed Francis this fight.
I wanted suspension of disbelief. How do you feel about it, GC?
Yeah, I felt like it was disrespectful off the bat. Just like imagining another fighter doing that, and this sort of being somewhat of a gimmick fight in terms of it's an MMA guy getting in there to box a world-class boxer. Obviously, the odds are not in Francis Ngannou's favor. Him being like, all right, then I'm going to have my real title fight in December or January. And I mean, if it's December too, that's like what, a 6-week turnaround for him coming off of this one? So like
that seems like a quick turn. Unless he
maybe it'll be January, something like this. But like the fact that he's dropping promos for it or dropping the poster for it, it was just like, man, you still do have this fight on the books, man.
Yeah.
Like we discussed this. Like I would have thought it would have been fantastic if he did what a lot of people expect him to do. If he just kind of made it look easy against Francis, then as soon as he gets the microphone after the fight, I'm coming for Usyk, undisputed.
Yes.
First time since what, 99?
Well, why couldn't it have gone down like that? That was perfect. It's not like it's in 4 months to fight. It's in less than 4 weeks now. It just would have been great. And then he wins, and now all of a sudden, let's just say the fight doesn't live up to whatever expectations we may have. But you drop that bomb on everyone afterwards, everyone's buzzing afterwards. That becomes the story, right? It's sort of like the one that's freshest in my mind. It's not the greatest example because the fight didn't come to fruition, but it's when Amanda Serrano fought at the theater against Erica Cruz. You guys were there, right? They had the promo ready to go. Now, in the end, they were a little bit too ambitious, and Serrano got too banged up, and the fight didn't happen. But Katie was there, and they did the face-off, and they went to the promo package, and they've done this with Triple G in the past as well. Like, why can't you do it that way? In the end, what's done is done. The toothpaste is out of the tube. You know, it's going to be fine. But I'm curious to see how Francis channels this. And man, I was watching an Eddie Hearn interview this morning with our friend Charlie Parsons of Boxing Social, and they're like clowning on him. They're clowning on his mitt work. They're clowning on him. Like he's got to be trolling, right?
Then I guess I don't mind the Rick Spin Zone for this. Like he's being disrespectful.
More
I mean,
interesting.
This is our heavyweight
he
champion.
Has chance to play the biggest spoiler of all spoilers. I mean, imagine the egg on Tyson Fury's face.
If he knocks him out.
If Francis Ngannou knocks this dude out.
It sounds like you're both coming along with me.
I'm not coming along because I never would have done it. We're actually doing them a favor by doing this. But don't get it twisted. That's not their intention. Their intention is, I mean, I saw the Frank Warren interviews afterwards. It was never like, hey, he has to get by Francis first. It's like, no, it's signed, sealed, and delivered. Give us our flowers. We're doing this. We're spinning this.
Fight's happening whether he gets knocked out by Francis Ngannou or not, correct? Man, and then imagine the argument that goes. And
by the way, how does it happen? I mean, I guess it could happen. Alexander Gustafsson got a title shot getting off a knockout, but I mean, how do you sell that? You get knocked out by Francis Ngannou, and now you're fighting Usyk?
If I'm Usyk, I say, sign up Francis. I want that guy instead.
Hell yeah.
He's got some leverage now.
But he doesn't have those belts. He's got to get the undisputed.
Regardless of how we got here, this is more interesting.
But I just want to acknowledge it's more interesting because you're a smart guy and you're a fan and you're making it more interesting. But let's just please acknowledge this wasn't the intention. Do you understand what I'm talking about?
I would assume you're correct. I can't say for sure, but I would assume you're correct. That it just feels like they were casting Francis aside.
Right.
But again, this helps. This helps the fight. I care more now about Francis.
I don't know. I don't know if for the general population.
I don't know if it helped. I think they now skip
it.
it. I think they now say, "Oh, okay, he's fighting the real dude in December or March. Let me skip this one."
Well, what fight do you want to see more, Usyk or Francis?
Who, me?
Yeah, Usyk, of course. Yeah. But that would have been true if this was if that would have been true at any point in history.
Fuck that! I want to see Francis. I want to see Big Francis shock the world.
I mean, yeah, if he shocks the world.
I can't believe Tyson Fury did it again. Tyson Fury and team just did it again.
Wow, here we go. Incredible. Rick is spinning this into he's a genius. Tyson Fury is a marketing genius.
I will look. I'm gonna say that. I mean, he is, to be honest. And as I said before, this is very out of character. He think about like Chisora, Dillian White. Like, if you look back and think back on Tyson Fury talking about those fights, does he say, I'm going to go in there and smoke them and they're not up to snuff? Or does he say these guys are dangerous and here's why? Like, he's been very careful and very good about making sure that he promotes who his opponent is. Like, didn't he went off on True Geordie because he was saying like, this is not a suitable fight. Like, this is not a good fight for the fans. He takes it seriously. So this felt weird and felt out of character. Now, I'm not going to go so far as to say I know that this was premeditated, but no matter what, sitting here on October 4th, the fight has more interest to me. Francis Ngannou stopping Usyk versus Fury from happening is interesting.
Boxing fans would be so pissed if he does that. Imagine if Francis...
This is it. They'd be livid.
There's another sort of ripple effect here. If they do in fact do it on December 23rd, that was the date that was rumored for Chris Eubank Jr. against Conor Benn.
Oh yeah.
Can't imagine they would then do that, right? I mean, I know it's not going to happen in England. Ben Eubank would be in England, but like you wouldn't put both on the same day. So I don't know if that was the intention to throw that out there to like beat them to the punch. I don't know if the intention was to steal some shine from the Canelo fight. I don't know what the intention was, but I don't know. Again, just to be clear, love the fight, love the idea. It's what needed to happen. But I just
love the fight.
Yeah, I just wish they waited just a couple more weeks. Also, what about the awkwardness? Frank Warren also promotes Daniel Dubois, and he had been saying that Dubois was going to, and I think had actually officially filed an appeal, and now it's like, oh, well, you're not going to get that appeal. It doesn't really matter. You're off to the side. That's kind of weird, but whatever. No one
Can I give a hot take?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm actually more interested in Conor Benn and Chris Eubank than I am in Fury versus Usyk.
Yeah, that's a hot take. That's a hot take.
That's a hot take, dude.
That is a hot take. I mean, that's a great fight. But
undisputed heavyweight champion of the world.
I love
Chris
it.
Eubank, Conor
It's
Benn.
a great fight. Eubank and Ben, for me, has vaulted into like...
No, it's great, but like you can't.
There's not an MMA fight on the schedule that I care more about than Eubank and Ben right now.
What?
It sounds like there's not a boxing fight that you care about more
there's
than
not. There's no
Chris
fight
Eubank
on
and
planet
Conor
Earth.
Benn.
Please explain.
No slap
why.
fight, no BKFC, no
explain.
anything.
I love this fight too. I love my British boxing.
Oh, come on. Break this down.
I loved it the first time when it was just the family lineage story, the heritage, all that stuff. It was great. The legacy's on the line. I love that. Now it's got 10 more wrinkles about the drug testing. It feels a little bit outlaw with Conor Benn. The rivalry between the two. First of all, Eubank losing in that time, and then coming back and avenging that loss. Like, there is so much more to this fight now. It's my number one. And if you can do that in can do that in Wembley, if you can do that in an atmosphere.
Number one fight in all of combat.
I don't want to shit on this.
The number one Anglophile, the number one like I wish I was the English person 100%. In the entire world.
I love everything about it, but I'm not crazy enough to say that I'm more excited about this than any MMA fight or any boxing.
Number one fight in all of combat sports.
So good.
I'm more excited. I'm more excited about Sal Poppy versus Slims. Is it Slims or Swarms? I'm not sure which one.
When
you
Eddie,
get the point?
when I send this to Eddie Hearn, I go. You stay because I want to go to that.
No, I want to be at that fight. I want to be at that fight. I like that.
I think that's the biggest thing in combat sports right now. That rivalry to me, massive. I love it. I love the drama of it.
You can say this. Your opinion is that's the fight you're most excited for. You can't say that is the biggest fight in. No, you just said it's the biggest fight in all of combat sports.
No, I said it's the one I'm looking forward to.
No. But you just said it like 10 seconds. We can roll the clock back. Roll the tape.
Yeah, you did say that.
Okay,
you said
well,
it was
the
biggest
frame-
fight in combat sports.
That
Not the
maybe
biggest
have.
fight in combat sports.
Yeah, of course not. Like nothing's bigger than Conor McGregor. I'm the one who always says that whenever we talk about this.
Right.
But yeah,
I mean, Usyk Fury is bigger than it too.
We framed this
Usyk
conversation with what I'm most excited about. That was my.
And by the way, you
that-
get
Yeah.
there's a
Okay,
difference.
yeah.
Let me play the semantic game as
like
well.
don't twist it. I've made
No.
it very clear.
No
what my stance
twisting.
is.
I'm just using your own words. We can always play the tape back.
By the way,
we are being recorded
I actually
right
want to defend Rick in this regard. There's
Okay,
a
yeah.
difference because this is something that I feel like Rick would say. There's a difference between biggest and most excited, right? Like,
now. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
there's a difference, but
I feel like that's what I just clarified.
no, I know, but like they're both
No,
crazy
but you're trying to
statements.
like go in the minutia and like.
Yeah. That
you know,
also is. That also
I made
is.
my point very clear.
It's
also
a
is-
crazy
that's a
statement.
crazy
though.
statement.
It's a
Most
crazy
excited.
statement.
That's a crazy thing. to say.
No, love it. Not
Yeah.
I mean,
even-
were we
nothing
not
else
just
is
talking
even-
about the potential of Canelo versus Crawford on Monday, and you were like, "That's like
Great.
one of the."
If that happens, I'm it's up there with Usyk and Fury, but nothing's topping Eubank and Ben for me. That's the
Wow,
one.
I mean, like
Love
this
it.
is.
Love it.
You were like,
It's just so good.
you were amped, pens and needles, watching him in a co-main in Orlando, 10 rounds. You were like, this has to happen so we can get to the Eubank fight.
Yes.
Have to happen. I
Yes,
have
it
to
did
see
have
it.
to happen.
I'm just so happy. Could you imagine?
I
if
wish we had a
would've said
live
this?
cam on that.
If
wish
I
we
would
had
have
had
said
a
this,
camera.
people would have said like, "You're in Eddie Hearn's pocket. You're in DAZN's pocket."
That's okay.
you're-
I'm in Conor Ben, Chris Eubank, Eddie Hearn's pocket.
Who
I
wins
love
the
this
fight?
fight. It's the who wins it. Oh boy.
Hey, do you have a dog? Do you have a horse in this race?
No, not really. I'm just in for the competitive matchup. I think Eubank is going to be too big ultimately, but I sure as hell want to find out because Conor Ben is a mean MFer, and I really want to see it. But
Can we do a road show there? I mean, I just want to see.
I mean,
you.
yes.
Let's go.
Can Rick host it?
Yes.
Just send
He's
me.
going
Just
so
send
hard
me.
on this
Why
that
me?
it seems like we're shitting on the fight, but we're not.
No, that's
Like I'm
true.
down for this fight. I would be
You
very
guys are just
excited
not
for
ready.
it.
You guys are just not on the level
It's
yet.
just
It's all right. You'll
crazy.
get there.
Crazy.
You'll
And then,
get
by the
there.
way, the week of the fight, we're going to be like, this is great. And then he's going to say, oh, you guys weren't into it. You guys weren't into it. I was into it. No, it's just like
I will say that. I
You could
will
say
say
top
that.
10.
I'm starting it now.
You could say
I'm
top
starting
10
it now.
most like anticipated fight, but like number one?
Number
Honestly,
one.
if you had me
Number
guess the 10 fights in all of combat sports Rick was most excited for, I don't know if
Is
I
he
would
John
guessed
Jones? Like what? Hamza
No,
against...
Izzy John Jones is not a real fight though.
I'm just saying.
Hamza, yeah, like give me Hamza in a title
Those are all
fight.
up there. Those are somewhere in that top 10, but it's not dethroning the number one. The drama of this fight is just next level. I'm all in. I'm all in. December.
Well,
Hopefully.
yeah, you made it clear you are all in.
By the way,
Questions down, one question down.
yeah. By the way, I just want to say congratulations to friend of the program, King Ryan Garcia, back on December 2nd. It was announced yesterday. So
Love these like near the holidays.
yeah, this is fun. You
This
love that. December
Christmas, I love
23rd. I mean, gather
Oh,
around with
yes,
your
I know.
eggnog.
Yes,
And,
yes.
Watch. By the way, there's a very good chance that neither fight happens on December 23rd, right? Like Eubank Ben, there's all kinds of hoops, and then like, what if Francis not like? And we'll be left with nothing. We're gonna be left with freaking Virna Jandiroba at the Apex in the main event. You know,
We'll always
Even
have
if
Boxing Day in the
Francis-
Prem.
right? That's
Yeah,
oh, that's
even if
true.
Francis doesn't win, even if Tyson wins, I don't think it's like assured that December date is the
No.
one anyway. So yeah, there's a possibility neither of those fights happens in this calendar year. But when it does, send me. Eddie, send me. I won't go.
Number two, by the way, I saw in that interview with Charlie Parsons, they actually referenced our show. It was just coincidental. I was watching it on my little run this morning. Do you know what they called Steve Cooper? They called him Steve Gibson. Now, to their credit, they corrected it after, but like Steve Gibson, come on, have some respect. Ben P. Hello, Ariel and gang. With all the speculation around John Jones retiring after the Stipe fight, win or lose, I don't believe that to be true. Anyway, it's obvious that it would take something exciting for John to keep fighting. I mean, he's never actually said that. Correct me if I'm wrong. Has he come out and said, I'm retiring? No. And I don't think he retires with a win. What do you think the chances are we finally get a stadium fight in the UK for Jones versus Aspinall? Does Jones do that? Man. Frank was so quick on the draw, you'd think he chose the questions. I found out today that Frank has a whole soundboard of things, right? But you never use them on this show. You use them for the other shows.
Yeah.
You have... It's the first time I heard it. Give us a Jasmine.
Jazz Divizius.
That is the best. Steve Cooper? The 8-bit winner? Love that one. That's tremendous. Anyway, I feel like John would enjoy the challenge of going into enemy territory, being the guy. Would he want to do that? I don't know. Here's what I feel comfortable saying. I don't think he's retiring with a win. I feel comfortable saying Stipe is retiring, win or lose. There's nothing left. I think if John Jones smokes Stipe Miocic on November 11th, and I don't know what's going to happen, but if he is dominant, why would he walk away at this point? There's so much to be made. There's so many more opportunities. What else is he going to do? I just don't see it. Cool. Happy Wednesday. And by the way, I would love to see that fight. And maybe Aspinall gets another win and they do it there and they load it up with whomever's a star, Leon Edwards. And I just saw, what did I just see here? I think it was on MMA Fighting. I just saw briefly Arnold Allen is coming back. Who's he fighting? I just saw this 2 seconds ago. Arnold Allen. So Arnold gets a win. He's back on track.
Right?
Yeah. Okay. Whoa, that's a big fight for Arnold.
Big.
UFC 297. So that's in the T-Dot, right? January 20th. Yeah. T-Dot. Unofficially.
Yeah. Cub Swanson had that tweet saying that he got offered to fight in Toronto. A little leak there.
Yep. Cool. Happy Wednesday, Ariel and crew. My birthday's November 11th, so naturally I have a birthday watch party every year with friends and family. My question is for you as well as the crew. Has there been a fight night moment either on or close to your birthday that you'll always remember? My personal one is when Yair got that crazy KO over Zombie a few years back. Yeah, the 25th anniversary show in Colorado. Thank you for the time and love the show. I've mentioned this one before, but yes, I do have one. So my birthday is on July 8th, as you know, International Fight Week. The event this past July was in fact on my birthday. But, at this point, I'm just watching it by myself. However, 2007, UFC 73 Stacked in Sacramento was a little bit before my birthday. It was, I think, if memory serves me correct, I'm going to say July 6th. July 7th. All right. One day off. Anyway, so my birthday's coming up crazy. Okay. I thought I read something here that is actually wrong. Anyway, I told my family that I wanted to go to a bar in New York City to show them what this great UFC thing was that I keep talking about, that I want to have a career in and cover. I was just about, I hadn't gone to Spike yet. And then, of course, I stayed at Spike for a month, and then I started the website. So this is right before that because I went to Spike in September. But, here I was thinking that I was going to work in, TV production on the UFC side of things. So I said, what I want to do for my birthday on the Saturday night, the day before my birthday, is everyone come together, family and friends, and we go to a bar. And we went to a bar called the Playwright Tavern in Times Square. And my brothers came. My wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, came. My friends who were in town came. And we all went. And the card was called Stacked. And it was a great card. Anderson Silva against Nate Marquardt for the middleweight title. Rashad Evans against Tito Ortiz. Sean Sherk against Hermes Franca for the lightweight title. Antonio Rodrigo Nogueira against Heath Herring in a rematch of a Pride fight. I mean, it was solid. It was a solid card. And I was selling them on it, and they were all into it. And it ended up being a terribly boring card. It dragged. On the main card, it was just decision. It was just it was just a string of bad fights, and then even the Ortiz-Evans fight ended up being a draw. It just dragged. Sherk Franco was 25 minutes, and it wasn't terribly exciting. Big Nog against Heath Herring wasn't terribly exciting, went to decision. So it dragged, and it dragged so much that even the Kenny Florian-Alvin Robinson fight got pushed to the post-lim after the Anderson Silva-Nate Marquardt fight. Now, Anderson did beat Marquardt in the first round. Thank the heavens. At least we got some exciting finish. But it ended up actually producing one of my favorite post-fight interviews in UFC history, because after that fight, they rushed Kenny Florian out, because here's Kenny Florian thinking he's going to be maybe 2 on the main card, 3 on the main card, that swing bout. He gets put to the end. We've talked to him about it on the show. He goes out there, he freaking starches Alvin Robinson, beats him in the first round, and he's all fired up. He was wearing the Bruce Lee outfit, the yellow tracksuit, and then he gets on the microphone and he says, "Who wants to see fights finished at 155? I finish fights." It was amazing. It was one of my favorite post-fight interviews ever. So anyway, I felt very embarrassed that I had been building up this card in this sport and then ended up producing a bunch of stinkers. So that's a birthday party that I'll never forget. And the last time, actually, that I forced family and friends to watch a card. Eric, shalom, Ariel and crew. Ariel, I humbly believe your interview last Wednesday with Jim Lampley was perhaps your greatest interview ever. He shared so many incredible stories that I know were only the tip of the iceberg. One thing that stood out to me most, however, one thing stood out to me the most, however. I speak, of course, of Jim's recollection of Howard Cosell's less than stellar treatment of him. You've mentioned several times that Cosell is one of your heroes, and thus I ask you, how was it for you to hear one of your heroes in Jim Lampley describe another one of your heroes in Cosell in such a manner? Were you disappointed, surprised, saddened? Love to hear your thoughts. Your friend Eric. What a freaking question, Eric. Tremendous. Here's the truth. I have heard people in broadcasting speak of Howard Cosell like this. Bob Costas himself has told stories about how Howard Cosell wasn't too kind to him, and I look up to Bob Costas perhaps even more so than Lampley himself. That's why I wanted to go to Syracuse. Bob Costas and Marv Albert. So I've read books on Howard Cosell, and I've watched documentaries on him, and I feel like I know a lot about his career. So I'm not necessarily surprised by any of this. If you've read anything or watched anything on Cosell, you know that he wasn't exactly a warm and cuddly teddy bear. But when you hear these stories and you see just how like truly difficult he was to work with and not so receptive to others, it is a bit of a bummer. And so I have been able. Look, I didn't grow up watching Howard Cosell. I wasn't. I was a baby towards the tail end of his career, but by the time I really started watching sports, he was no longer on television. So I didn't really necessarily grow up saying oh, tonight I have to watch Monday Night Football because Howard Cosell is on. I grew up loving the idea of who he was and respecting his body of work. And when you watch clips and docs and read stuff about his relationship with Ali, and then you watch the interviews and his command of the English language and his classic calls and his presence and his demeanor, it's hard not to be infatuated with that. But then you find out about people behind the scenes, and then you kind of form your opinion. I don't have posters of him on my wall, just like Ange Postecoglou doesn't have posters of Liverpool on his wall. You might get the reference. You might not. He did have Fonzie. Doesn't anymore. Anyway, that's a Premier League joke for all of you. The point is, not too surprised about all of it. You hate to hear that stuff. He was a very complex guy, a complicated figure in the world of sports television period. But hard to deny the body of work and what he meant to combat sports, what he meant to sports television, what he meant to the industry. And hard not to respect the journey. This was a guy who was a lawyer in his 40s and decided to pivot and change his life and career and go into media in a day and age when there wasn't social media, there wasn't 1,000 networks and channels and radio stations. There was 5, if that. So it's really remarkable what he was able to do. And so I'll always have respect for that and who he was and what he did and what he built and how he conducted himself on air for the most part. And then you hear about these stories, and that's what makes it complex. But not surprised because I had heard of these things, and in particular, Costas has talked about him a lot over the years as well. But tremendous question. Really appreciate it. Joshua, love the cast. Keep breaking down those fourth walls. 2 quick questions. Ariel, what's your favorite Montreal coffee shop? Any insight into why UFC stopped selling UFC or device? Okay, so that's the second question. Favorite coffee shop would have to be Pigeon, which coincidentally or not, is owned by a longtime good friend of mine, Jonathan Dresner. But there's a couple of locations, one in NDG, Notre Dame de Grâce, Monkland, and there's another one downtown. There might be another one, but I do love Pigeon. Every time I'm in Montreal, I try to go there. So shout out to Pigeon. In fact, their slogan is the worst coffee, but it's actually great. They're just trying to be a little bit cheeky. So that would be my favorite. And then the second one is any insight into why UFC stopped selling using the device that allowed live event attendees. The ability to listen to the commentary team while watching live in person. Yeah, this was great back in the day. You'd get there and you could buy a little mini radio that you could actually listen to the broadcast. Tremendous. I feel like every sporting event should have this. Baseball would be great. or you could just bring your own radio, I guess, or listen on your phone. But this was a really cool thing. Now, by the way, you can listen to the prelims and the non-pay-per-views on SiriusXM. Shout out to that channel, but you can't pay-per-views. Do I know why? No, I don't. It used to be available to purchase at the merch stand stores. Yeah, I don't know. Attending UFC events is tremendous, but not having the audio commentary takes away from the overall experience. I couldn't agree more. I always say this to people. Someone asked me recently, should I go to the MSG card? And I said, have you ever been? No. I said, yes, you should go if you can afford it. Live event-wise, it's up there with the best. The adrenaline, the excitement, the buzz, the energy. But after 2-3 times, I feel like it's a better experience at home. And that's not me hating. That's saying the production is so great, the commentary is so great, the camera angles, the access, the in-between round stuff, like that's so great that I feel like you miss a lot of that. Now, is it great to go to a big Vegas event and feel that energy and see the celebrities and the buzz and the walkouts? It's tremendous. There's nothing like it in sports. But if you've gone a bunch of times and you have to choose, and you really want to lock in at home because of the commentary, you're able to do so better, in my opinion. Oded, hi, Ariel. In order to make judging a bit better, or at least get some answers to why a round was scored the way it was, do you think that maybe each judge should add a few words to every round they score to explain what she saw? This way, someone like Valentina, as well as the media, would have immediate answers on why she lost a 10-8 round. Keep up the great work. It's not a bad idea. They only have a minute, but a couple of words, yeah, I don't hate it. I still don't understand why a judge can't explain to a Valentina. The referees could talk to the fighters beforehand, but the judges can't talk to the fighters afterwards? Why? I still don't understand that. That to me is very bizarre, but I don't hate the idea or the suggestion. By the way, yesterday we found out that Alexa Grasso had surgery on her hand. Wish her a speedy recovery. And now it feels like it all just confirms that we're going to get Fiorot versus Blanchfield next. This is not something that I've heard or been told, but to me, it's kind of a blessing for the UFC. You can wait until both of them hopefully recover in due time, and you could run that one back in maybe the spring, and then you get a number one contender with Blanch and Fiorot. That's what I feel like is going to happen. And Dana White kind of alluded to that, but that was even before we knew about Grasso injuring her hand, which is crazy that she was able to also fight a 5-round fight like that as well. Did you guys see that thing that came out from the Premier League involving the controversy with the VAR and the Liverpool-Tottenham game? Did you guys see this? GC may have seen it. Definitely not New York Rick. You guys know what I'm talking about?
No, I actually didn't see it.
Holy shit. It was
No idea.
Extremely controversial game on Saturday, Liverpool-Tottenham. In fact, I think Twitter/X almost like swallowed me because I had a bit of a cheeky take on it all. They were not very happy with my take. But in any event, there was a moment where Liverpool scored a goal and they said it was offsides, but it wasn't. And they went and checked it. VAR is like the video audio replay. Right. And they checked it, and then they ended up saying it was offsides. And everyone freaked out because the replays suggested it wasn't offside. And what ended up happening was yesterday they released the commentary, the audio of all the officials speaking to each other, checking that clip, checking that moment, and coming to the conclusion that it wasn't offside, but they ended up relaying the information incorrectly. And so what ended up happening was the guy's like, okay, the ruling on the field stands, I think he says. And then the guy's like, wait a second. You're saying it's offside. It wasn't offside. And then, but the game had already started. And then the guy's like, you need to stop the game. And he's like, I can't stop the game. It's already passed. And the guy's like, fuck. And they released this audio. And so now the Liverpool fans are going crazy. And they're like, wait, we actually did score. And this shouldn't have been a loss, which could be, this could affect Champions League standings next year. This could affect Premier League this is massive. Jurgen Klopp saying today that they should just restart the whole game and replay it. And so the reason I bring this up is that's transparency. And I know that we can talk all day long about VAR, and I know it's a very hot topic in the world of soccer, but that is transparency. And these guys can't come out and talk about why they scored a 10-8? Really? We're talking about we have to protect the guys, and we're talking about soccer fans now and how I don't know if I think one of them is suspended now. I don't know if those guys can ever walk in Liverpool again after doing that. And we're worried about What's going to happen? Mike Bell can't go to, can't go to Kyrgyzstan one day if he explains, like, what are we talking about? It's crazy the way we're coddling these guys. Like, you're in the hot seat, you're making the call, this is what you're doing. At least give some explanation, whether it's a written statement, whether it's an explanation to the fighters, someone, to the promoter. Explain it to the promoter if you want. But I couldn't believe that. You guys got to watch this. They're talking, and they're like, no, that's not what we wanted. We wanted it to be onside. We wanted it, and they got it wrong. The communication, how that happened, I have no idea. But it's riveting to watch. And listen, I'm sorry, Liverpool fans. I was just messing about. I like Tottenham. They're not my team. Let's not get crazy. But we got Brendan on the squad, even though he's injured. And Postecoglou might be my favorite character in sports right now. This guy's amazing. You see this guy's press conferences, GC? This guy's the man. You're not as into it as I am, I feel like.
Sorry, I'm also listening to the audio right now, trying to find the...
Oh, it's amazing. Ange Postecoglou, the manager for Tottenham. This guy's incredible. His press conferences are the best. He's got a very sort of dry sense of humor. He refers to the media guys as mates. He's just tremendous. Former Celtic manager. Shout out to A.K. Lee. I know he's a big fan. And Angela, our friend, who visited the studio. Anyway, I could go on and on. There's been a big push to do a Premier League hour. What do you guys think of that? Or a footy hour? There's been a big push for this. Do you guys have any thoughts?
I think we do that already, no?
That was a zinger.
Question for you.
Yeah. Yes. Go ahead.
I'm assuming that kind of release is not normal. Like where they release the audio of this type of conversation.
No. But it's freaking fascinating.
My other question is, so they're like, we want this thing. It gets called in incorrectly, and then what? They don't try to correct it. Like, what happens from there? I don't understand how the game ends.
No, the game didn't end. It's mid-game. So there's a goal. Yeah. There's a goal.
Yeah.
They go check, and so now all these dudes are talking to each other, and they have this recorder. Like when they go to Secaucus for the NBA.
Yeah.
And then they're like, okay, now you can resume the game. It was offside. But it wasn't offside. And then the guy is saying, wait, you need to stop. And then there's one guy who's like, no, you can't stop. The game has already resumed. Now, why? I mean, this goes back to
So that's what happened is the one guy was like, no, we can't go back to this.
Yeah, which
is in this, the subtext says VAR, and he's just like, can't do anything. Nope.
Yeah, too late.
Can't do anything. Nothing I can do now.
Well,
that guy, Ollie's saying to stop the game. And they're just like, nope.
Yeah,
can't do
that guy's got to take the heat then. That's
unfortunate.
But
that's like me saying that they should like resume, like when the dude says that he tapped, just like resume the game, resume the fight. What are you so worried about?
It's a little different.
No, I know it's a little different. I know it's a little different. You isn't the clip riveting to listen to them?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing.
Could you imagine the feeling?
And then it just ends with the.
Could you imagine? Like, I'd be crapping my pants, like thinking, like, holy shit, we just fucked up to the point where we just called it completely wrong, and we're all acknowledging on this audio system that it's wrong. We're screwed.
Who released the audio?
VAR. Again, transparency. Like the Premier League released it. It wasn't like this was like...
I don't get, because like...
No, they're trying to be transparent. They're trying to say it's like the NBA comes out with that 2-minute report.
Yeah.
This is all I've been preaching.
You have to assume that there have been times that they have messed these up before.
Yeah, and so I read something that I think Liverpool, like you have to officially request it. Again,
that makes sense now.
But
where something pushed them to do it. I'm not saying that this is not good. I'm just saying that it would not have made sense if they just proactively decided to get this guy on everybody's hit list.
But the Nevada State Athletic Commission can't come out with a statement and say, you know what, maybe we got this one wrong. No, hey, by the way, no harm, no foul. It's a draw, right? But come on,
release the audio of.
Well, there's a foul because
I know she would be champion. Yeah,
yeah.
Fascinating. Great question though.
That is fascinating.
Hey, this question is for GC and New York Rick. Since you guys interviewed Ben Davis on the show last week, did you catch Fight Circus 8 over the weekend? I'm a guess that GC did, but New York Rick didn't. Ben Davis was there on commentary and was in an event, leg wrestling, followed up by a nothing but kicks bout. If you did catch it, then what did you think, and which event was your favorite? I thought I'm going to screw this up, the Lethwy fight was nuts, flying headbutts. Sheesh. Did you guys watch it? GC?
Yeah, so I watched some of it. I mean, you can't watch the entire thing. Like I don't know if I'm mistaken, but the stream for it was 12 hours long.
You're kidding.
I mean, that's
on YouTube.
Yeah. I mean, it's so ridiculous. I mean, the production level is pretty decent too. Like, I'm a little bit jealous of Ben getting to work with him. I mean, straight out of his fight with Gabe Silva, now he's flying to Thailand and doing this. Yeah, he did like a leg wrestling thing. And then I saw another one where they were fighting on like a lubed up canvas that like made it seem like they were ice hockey boxing, and like they just kept eating shit the whole time. Yeah, I mean, it was good stuff. There was one I also saw with Bane when he was in the commentary booth, but one of the guys giving commentary was blindfolded and still trying to do it. Yeah, it was a ridiculous scene. It always is. I mean,
Why does it feel like this got less attention than the Gabe Silva fight?
I think this is a little less mainstream than Misfits boxing.
Okay.
I mean, there's just like some ridiculous stuff going on. I'm just clicking through to random things.
I saw the leg wrestling thing. That was ridiculous. His reaction was hilarious.
He cut a great promo beforehand. There's also, I saw one where it's two guys in one shirt having to box another two guys in one shirt. I'm just clicking another one. It looks like Ben did some sort of tag team here. Yeah, I mean, it's just a whole scene. It's wildly entertaining, and I mean, the production level is like it's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, shout out to Fight Circus.
Now, can I just say something? Okay, so we were big Ben Davis guys, right? We were always Ben. We love Ben, right?
I mean,
Ben, no. For like no. I'm saying like that week, I think we were really pushing that fight, right? I mean, I was freaking live tweeting it. I rearranged my whole Saturday afternoon just to watch that fight. My kids were sitting around saying, "This guy's your friend. Is he gonna win?" I was like, "Yeah, don't worry. He's gonna beat the son of the legend." It was great. We were happy for him. We were proud of him. So I think we're very positive, and I think that we're allowed to be unbiased when it comes to Big Ben and what he's doing. And what I love so much about what he's doing is that he's creating his own path. He's creating his own voice. It's unique. It's different. He's not trying to follow everyone else. He's still so young. But, let's keep it real here, New York Rick. Does he have to be a little bit mindful now of the direction? Like, he can't jump on everything. We don't want to water down the brand too. We can't be on every single fight event doing crazy things. Like, it has to feel special. Am I wrong? Is this tough love?
I think you're wrong.
Wow. Okay.
I think it's okay. I think it's okay at the moment.
At the moment, but we have to be mindful of it. I'm not saying he's jumped the shark. Shout out to the Fonz. But I'm just saying we need to be mindful. It's okay to say no sometimes, right?
I agree with that, but I feel like this was just like a stop. This was a rest stop on the way to like grappling Brendan Fitzgerald. So like we'll get the stock back up. You know what I mean? Like we'll elevate again.
Yeah, I mean there's a lot of last minute offer to get flown out to Thailand.
Again, I'm not saying this is the one, but we can't. Okay. Do the losses matter? Do we need a victory at some point? No,
the losses do not matter.
It's okay if he loses every time.
What would have happened if he had
it's almost
won
funnier.
In the leg wrestling?
I feel like we need one just kind of sprinkled in there. One victory.
I mean, we have to get one eventually, right? Like the laws of averages eventually has to pay off that Ben's going to get a W.
And so I want Ben to know this.
Leg wrestling at Fight Circus.
Would have been. I think that would have been an easy W. Was that person like an aficionado? And
yeah, I believe B. Mott is her name.
Okay.
Yeah, I think she's the champ.
Okay.
There's a championship. Okay.
Ben might be watching or listening to this and saying like,
"Gender championship," I believe.
These guys are turning on me. No, here's the thing. This is actually a compliment to Ben. He has reached a status in the fight world to where like we have to break things down, just like we're breaking down as Chandler. Sticking like these are the decisions that the big time stars, we scrutinize them for. So I'm not saying he's done it, and I'm not saying he's there. I was just throwing out the open question: does he have to start being mindful? My feeling is yes. It's okay to say no sometimes, and not be everywhere. That's all.
I mean this with the utmost respect. What's below Fight Circus? Like this was the floor.
By the way, that's why I brought up the question.
So I think we're only up from here. Like I'm gonna get some hate because there's a lot of avid Fight Circus fans. I think Jed Meshew, one of them. But like, what's we've reached the floor. He's good. He'll be fine. Like we're up from here.
Free trip to Thailand.
I don't think he needs to. he needs to win. I think the story that he's telling right now is like, I'm just going to show up anywhere and I'll be game to compete against anybody. There's no consideration. There's no carefulness about it. Like, I'll show up, I'm game, count on me, and I'll be there. And so far he's been delivering on that.
I mean, I got the stream up right now. Big pop for him in the YouTube chat when he showed up.
People love.
Yeah.
What, he's in our chat right now?
No. I'm talking
No,
about
no,
Fight Circus.
for the Fight Circus.
Stream.
I will also say he could also go the complete opposite direction and then just be the guy, like the jobber who competes every weekend all over the world in crazy settings and loses. Now you're leaning fully into that. I just don't, I don't know. I mean, I think he's actually a great broadcaster. I think Misfits should hire him, to be honest.
Yeah,
I think that's why he
I feel
doesn't care about the L's in combat, like actual fighting, is because that's not his intention.
Okay. I just hope that he knows it's coming from a good place. That's all.
You want him to do well.
I'm looking at it, yeah.
You want him to succeed.
Speaking of which, Chael Sonnen hosting the Bellator 300 press conference. A good look for Chael. Still don't love the glasses, if I'm being honest. It looks like he should be 65 when he wears those glasses. Also, Chael, we've already talked about. Have we? I don't know. I'm not going to bring it up. Anyway, lemon-shaped rock. Hello, Ariel. Did you read about the Expos possibly coming back to Montreal? Any insights into the logistics obstacles involved for that to occur? Do they need to build this new stadium, for example? You know what's interesting about this question, guys? Yesterday was October 3rd. I was talking, no, pardon the name drop, but I was talking to my good friend Marty Fish, legendary American tennis player, and we made a little friendly wager. He's a big Minnesota Twins fan. I am a Blue Jays fan. We made a wager. He is currently in a good spot as they won Game 1, Game 2 coming up, actually in a matter of seconds now. So it's just a 3-game series. If the Jays lose, I owe him $100. And we were talking yesterday about the fact that that was the first time in 18 years that the Twins had won a playoff game. And I told him how jealous I was of the fact that, the Twins and Expos in 2002, there were rumors that they were going to be contracted together, and how I always missed the Expos, especially around this time, and how I never got to see them in the playoffs. And then I was like, holy crap, it was actually October 3rd, yesterday, 2004, final game in Expos history. It was at Shea Stadium in Queens, and I was lucky enough to attend, and I mean, it was heartbreaking, and I cried on the subway home, and I'll never forget getting to go over the dugout for the last half inning and chanting "Let's go Expos" with fans that were there. It was horrible. So I just couldn't believe that it was that day, sort of like today's revelation with the Elite XC. Anyway, I saw a report earlier this week from a very respected reporter in Montreal named Jeremy Filosa about there still being hope, and I don't know, I've gotten my hopes up over the years, and it's kind of like a fool me once thing. So I will always hold out hope that baseball will be coming back to Montreal at some point in some way, shape, or form. I can't believe it hasn't come back, even in the form of like a AAA team, to be honest, because there's such a rich history dating back to before 1969 when the Expos came because of the Montreal Royals. They were the AAA affiliate of the Brooklyn Dodgers, and Jackie Robinson spoke so highly of playing for Montreal and said it was the only place that truly accepted him. I mean, there's a rich history. Delormier Downs, Jerry Park, educate yourselves. But to this question asker's point, they do need a downtown stadium. You have to understand there's only like 3 nice months in the summertime in Montreal. To go all the way to P9 to watch a baseball game under a roof that doesn't open in July is just a tough draw. They had a spot downtown right next to the Bell Center, and David Sampson and Jeffrey Loria, those Grinches, got rid of it. I'll never, ever, ever forgive them for it. But I will hold out hope, and I will be there on opening day. No matter where I am in life, I will be there on opening day when the Expos return, and it's going to be a glorious day. Zach, hello, Ariel and crew, fellow listener from Niagara Falls, Ontario. When I was younger, there used to be a commercial for SeaWorld in Niagara Falls, Ontario. No, it was Marineland. Marineland is the place to go. See the friends you miss. A great big kiss. Everyone loves Marineland. It's a great commercial. It would play all the time. Anyway, best program, MMA program, and it isn't even close. Thank you, my friend. With the rumored UFC 297 in Toronto in January, who do you see headlining? O'Malley has been teasing an early 2024 return, and Volk tweeted, January works for me. Is there any chance they have both of them defend belts on that card? Perhaps, but I do feel like 2 title fights in November, 2 title fights in December, 2 title fights in January. It's a little bit thin afterwards. So I think if Volk gets it, they probably do one, but crazier things have happened. And by the way, would you put Volk in the main event or would you put Sean O'Malley in the main event? And if you put Sean O'Malley in the main event, is that not disrespectful to Volk, who's been such a great champion? I almost feel like you have to avoid that and not put them together. What do you guys think? If they do Volk, Topuria, O'Malley, Cheeto, and, unfortunately from Rob, it doesn't seem like it's going to be him, who do you put in the main event?
I think you put Volk.
O'Malley's such a big star.
Yeah, I know.
I get it, but I mean,
credentials-wise, you make it Volk. Star power-wise, you make it O'Malley.
They'll both be on the poster, and I don't think Sean O'Malley is not Conor McGregor yet, and so I don't think he needs to eschew the weight class thing at the moment. And you put them both on the poster, and you sell the hell out of it, and people will still come for O'Malley. So I think you can still have the appropriate respect for Volk there, and put Sean in the
It also
co-main.
feels like O'Malley wouldn't be disappointed.
Yeah,
with still being in a co-main. It doesn't feel like he has the he has to be main eventer. He's not going to do anything at all.
Yeah, we can have this conversation a few fights from now. Sean O'Malley's still champion, knocking people off. Then all of a sudden it might be, you have to have this guy as the top billing. But for now, I think Volk has definitely earned that, and I don't think it would be out of place to put O'Malley in the co-main.
All right. Well, I haven't heard it's going to happen. Let's see. Let's see if either of them go on there. I would think they would. And when the hell is Juliana Pena going to fight? Feels like that's been kind of hanging around for a while. Anyway, he continues, would make it interesting with Topuria and O'Malley, recent bad blood. Oh, yeah, true. O'Malley's got beefs going on with everyone. It's tremendous. Planting those seeds, just like Chael P liked to do back in the day. Anyway, keep up the great work, and thanks for the content. The good news is, above all, Canada getting a pay-per-view again, tremendous. Toronto getting a pay-per-view again, tremendous. When are they coming to Montreal? It's been a long time. UFC 186, come on. That was a poorly attended card, but it wasn't a very good card. That was DJ versus Horiguchi. By the way, can we talk about Demetrius Johnson? Did you guys see this video of him doing the face-off with Kenny Omega for the video?
I did. Yeah, they're playing Street Fighter on stream.
I sent this to DJ. I was like, DJ, where has this personality been for the last 10, 15 years? Why does it seem like DJ at this point is like showing us this different side of him with his YouTube channel, with like even the Twitch stuff back in the day? It wasn't getting, like, his social media is on fire. Shout out to Michael Wantsover of ESPN, formerly, who's working with him. But just this stuff he cut this promo on Omega. I was like, wow, why couldn't you have cut a promo on Chris Carriasso like that? Where's this guy been all this time? You know what I'm talking about?
I think he was ahead of his time in his interests, and now right here in 2023, everything has kind of coalesced. Is what I think he was the same guy. I think he had the same interests, but I don't think there was outlets and channels and opportunities to kind of showcase them in this way. I think he seems to be somebody who cares a lot about the authenticity of it and not using it just to like get ahead. I think he just wants to do what he wants to do. And I feel like it just kind of like worked out timing wise for him. Now, could he have been bigger if the timing was different? Maybe. And these things kind of happened 5 to 10 years earlier, but he's living his best life right now and crushing it. But I think that's it. I think his interests were kind of a little bit early for when they were best utilized.
That's a good point.
And now they're right at the forefront of everything that everybody's doing.
His YouTube channel is sick. Thumbnails, fantastic.
Tremendous.
I mean, he puts all of us to shame. I will just say it feels like he is going to be like exhibit A of the guys who are way more appreciated, loved, respected when they're gone, right? He's rounding third on the career. There's no doubt about that. And it just seems like he is way more, like before people used to bemoan the fact that he was on a card or like, you know what I mean? And it's like, what? DJ, like you guys didn't appreciate this guy when he was doing his thing. So at least he's getting the love now. And you know what? At least he's getting it now and he could capitalize off of it because his channel is doing well. He's putting out great stuff and people seem to be enjoying it. Iman O'Keefe. Hey, Ariel. Love the Stevie Cooper interview. imagine? The gaffer. With that being said, oh, what a great question. That's me. Yeah, that's me. Would you ever consider a soccer hour show? Could you imagine if I called it Soccer Hour? We would be dead on arrival. No one would listen to it. Where you interview heads from the game and discuss nothing but soccer. I think it would be really good. You know, I have to tell you guys, there's a lot of feeling. You know, here's the thing. There's haters out there who would be like, I love soccer right now. Love it. Dare I say, I watch and follow it more, like podcasts, social media, you know, Champions League on now, Premier League. You know, I'm big into the EFL. I don't know if you guys know this as well. That's the championship for the uninformed. You know, you have La Liga, you have League One, Bundesliga. I was at the Red Bulls game this past weekend. You know, you have the USL. I love it. I love it, and I think it's probably because I'm watching it with my kids. I'm able to pick them up from school and be like, holy crap, did you see that Arsenal lost to Lens yesterday? Did you see that Man United lost to Galatasaray? And they would know what that means. If I pick them up and say, did you see that the Dolphins scored 70 on the Broncos? They'd be like, yeah, so what? It's just because that's what they like. So it's fun to live vicariously through their fandom. Got the Awani jersey yesterday. Got the Morgan Gibbs white jersey. They wore it to school today. They were on cloud nine. Like this is fun. This is everything you want as a dad of boys. So, yeah, you know, there could be a world one day where it's Monday's MMA hour, Tuesday's the boxing hour, maybe Wednesdays is wrestling hour, maybe Thursdays is the footy hour, and Friday's the basketball hour, or it's just the smorgasbord. You know, like we could be entering that phase of our lives. Who knows? Watch this space. But thank you for the words of encouragement, Iman. Question 2 he has is question for the whole gang. What was the last concert you each attended, and what was the best concert you ever attended? Thanks, y'all. Wow. I didn't even know that this was one of the questions. I kind of like skimmed them, but we were talking about. Well, I skimmed them. I wanted to give you the benefit of the doubt.
Either read them word for word or don't read them at all.
Last concert for you, best concert for you.
Last concert was the Mars Volta, and the best concert was Gary Newman back in like 2019.
Would you lose respect for me if I told you I don't know what either of those bands or people are?
That tracks of what I think of you.
Yeah. So the best was what? George Hamilton?
Gary Newman.
Okay.
Wow.
And where was it?
That was in Phoenix.
Okay. I feel like New York Rick isn't a concert guy, so I'm going to skip him for a second and go to GC. GC, best and most recent.
Most recent I went to Tame Impala at Barclays.
Wait a minute. We went to Action Bronson together.
Wow.
We did. Yeah. That's
how soon we forget.
Shout
You know,
out
I
to
may
AB.
flake on the day of, but you flake in history.
wow, good one, man. Yeah, that's definitely better than, not showing up, leaving me at the doorstep of wherever we were going to show up empty-handed.
I was at Action Bronson.
Wait, was that your most recent?
That
Frank
was
as
my
well?
most recent.
No, Frank as well.
No, the Mars Ultra was like a week ago.
Oh,
2
wow.
weeks.
Look at you, bro.
I mean, the Bronson concert was phenomenal. Nice, intimate setting. I mean, he killed it.
Bronson is the freaking man.
Big time in an arena, though, it was Tame Impala, which was
What is
up
that?
there.
Is that a guy or a band?
It's
It's actually a guy.
Yeah, it's a guy.
Forms of the band.
Okay, so I'm
I
so
thought
far.
Toby Keith
Yeah.
was your favorite.
Toby Keith, man.
I'm glad I was wrong.
Okay, so
What are
I'm
we
0
talking
for
about
3.
here?
Wait, that's
Travis Scott was probably,
When did
I've
you
seen
see
Travis Scott
Scott?
3 times.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, his Astroworld tour, that might have been the best concert I've been to. That was a lot of fun.
Not the Eras tour. That's not on the list.
I mean, I couldn't afford tickets. If I could have, I would have gone. Midnight's a great album. Big time into the herd coming to all the Chiefs games.
Oh yeah, it's great. It's great content. New York Rick, was I right in my assessment that you're not a big concert guy? You've never been.
I'm not a big concert.
Right? You're
I'm
a
not a big
podcast guy.
concert
You're not a
guy.
music guy.
Yeah. I've been to a few. I went to what was All of the Lights tour? No. It was I forgot. It was like Kanye, Rihanna, NERD. Like it was a crazy tour back in the day.
This is like
Glow
over
in
the
Dark-
course of your
Glow
life.
in the Dark tour. It was the Glow in the Dark tour. What's that?
Like the course of your life, you've only been to a few concerts?
Yeah, handful at most.
Wow.
But the best one was not even a concert. It was a comedy show that I went to. I went to see Hannibal Buress at the Knitting Factory in Brooklyn.
Oh, legend.
And he had advertised like special guests. And at the end of the show, he brought out Method Man.
Oh.
And Method Man did a concert for like 20 people in a room, including walking up to my buddy Aman and like taking his glasses off his face and putting them on and like doing half the show with his glasses on. So it was pretty cool to be in a room of very, very few people seeing that experience. So yeah, the best concert I went to was a comedy show. Yeah,
that's pretty amazing.
Having a renaissance right now. Method Man is everywhere.
We're going through it. I love it.
Actually, your pick is a little similar to mine. I don't know about my favorite, but in 2004 spring break, I was unable to go home because my visa was processing. So I went to, I think I've told this story before. I went to Melbourne, Florida, and covered the final Expos spring training for a week. I wrote a letter that I made up saying that my radio station was sending me to go cover them, and they gave me a credential because no one was covering the Expos at that point. And I got to hang out in the clubhouse and interview the players, and it was incredible. And I went for a few days, and then on the way back to Syracuse, I went to New York to spend some time with my brothers who were living there. And my brother, David, middle brother, who is way more into music than I am or will ever be, and especially hip hop and R&B, took me to a like a New York, not even a club, like it felt like an underground thing. There couldn't have been more than 500 people there, if that. Feels like less, feels like 250, like very, very small. And Kanye West was performing. Farnsworth Bentley was standing next to me with his, he was the guy with the umbrella that always used to be around Kanye West. Now, this is Kanye West, like, when he came out with the album Graduation Day, and I think that was his best. And so that was incredible. And then to see like what he became. So that was very memorable for me. I don't even remember what the last concert was that I went to. It's been that long since I've been to a concert. I have zero recollection. I've been trying to rack my brain this whole time, and I can't even tell. It might have even been that in 2004. It has to have been something since. I have no idea. Does like Megadeth at Affliction count? I don't think so. But I have been to some fun ones, especially when I was younger. I was big into Eminem. I saw him in Montreal, and I was big into Limp Bizkit, and I saw them in Montreal. And I also saw Public Enemy and Can I Bus. Anyone remember Can I Bus? Second round knockout, LL Cool J? Who remembers that?
Not I.
Wow. Can I Bus? Do you remember Can I Bus?
Yeah, of course.
I'm going to let the world know the truth. You don't want me to shine. You study my rhyme. Then you stole your vocals after mine. That's a something that... Anyway, I'm going to get in trouble. I don't want to do that.
This tour that I did go to, that tour that I said, Glow in the Dark tour at MSG. This is an insane tour. Kanye West, Rihanna, Lupe Fiasco, NERD, Santa Gold, and Nas.
Wow.
I mean, that's pretty nuts.
Yeah, that is nuts.
Yeah, I've been to very few, but I've been to some good ones.
I went to a Young Thug concert. They brought out Migos, and then Gucci Mane had just got out of jail in Atlanta.
Wow.
No one knew he was going to show up, and when Gucci Mane walked out, the whole place went crazy. It was pretty wild.
That is
Just
sick.
think, soon we'll be able to say that we all four went to see you two play at the Sphere.
Hell yeah.
Good point.
I really want to go see... I want to see Drake.
I've seen Drake.
You have?
Seen him at MSG. Got to get good seats. I was up in the rafters. It wasn't as good as when like you're down low.
Right. Drizzy, where you at? An account, one of these aggregator accounts, reported that Sean O'Malley and Cheeto Vera is happening in Toronto. Sean O'Malley quote tweeted, said fake news, and then Cheeto just responded 4 minutes ago saying shut up, and then not a nice thing.
Was it MMA Uncensored?
They like to put like stuff of me, and I don't know, but yes, it was.
Yeah, I think I saw that post too. Right. I mean, they got called out by Tim Welch also.
All right.
Yeah, they were getting called Cap.
Cap City. My son, my oldest son these days, his two favorite things to say are AO and stop the cap. It's like, golly.
Ayo, like in the
Ayo. You hang out with him and his friends for 30 minutes. There's at least 45 AOs drop.
like when
Ayo, you see that? Ayo,
Oh,
man,
that's how they
United
say it,
Law.
okay.
Ayo.
Oh, okay, like that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I see what you're saying now.
We were thinking different. We were
Yeah.
thinking something.
Hey.
Oh, come on, guys. Last one, and it's from an old familiar face. Moderator Lewis, forever, emeritus, is back with a question. How about this? This is lovely. By the way, you know Frank has really dialed it in because you could see there's peaks and valleys to the questions. He's starting with a hot tag. He's ending with a familiar face. This is lovely, Frank. Well done. I don't know if you get told that enough, but this is probably your finest hour. Ariel, at the beginning of this year, a few weeks after the Dillion Danis December 2022 interview, you said, and I quote, "I was down, I felt dirty, I felt like I'd wasted the audience time, and I'd wasted my time." Just a few days removed from the most recent meeting of minds, how are you feeling? How's it digesting? The lie counter was a stroke of genius, and all involved should give themselves the old Barry H. Frank is cooking as moderator, and I am here for OTN through the Frank lens. Wow, that is, I mean, Moderator Lewis always has a way with words. That was beautifully crafted. So yes, I did say that. And the reason why I said that, and this has been consistent throughout, and it dates back to me standing up and offering to shake a hand. When I invited him on and when he accepted, I thought that we were going to essentially do what happened on Monday, which was bury the hatchet. You know, there's a relationship there, whatever you want to call it. And it was clear to me that he was not in a place or was interested in doing that. He didn't shake my hand. He was making things up. He was nasty. It was this and that. And so that's why I felt dirty about it all. Now, I know the views were high and all that stuff. I don't care. I don't benefit. If the views get 1.8, if they get 200, like, it doesn't affect me at all. I've said this time and again, and it's still the truth. I felt much better about the Monday one, even though there was ribbing, even though there were shots and whatever, because by the end, and I'll say that, like, when the cameras were off, I'm not breaking kayfabe here. Like, we shook hands and, you know, wished him the best, and that's that. And perhaps I'll see you in a couple of weeks. And so, yes, I don't know which was better. I don't know which was worse. I don't know. I just felt better about it after the fact. And contrary to what some jabrones will say online, I actually think I went easy on him. I didn't, you know, he talks about CryptoZoo all the time. I didn't bring up his scam that he was involved with, CoffeeZilla Exposed. I went easy on him. So everyone's saying that, you know, oh, you favor Logan, you favor this. Like, oh, they say, why do you put up a lie counter for Dillon? That's the relationship I have with him. And it was a callback to the previous conversation in which he lied profusely. Well, the best is, why didn't you bring up CryptoZoo to Logan? And I did. And I asked him a follow-up. And if the guy says he's not going to talk about it, I'm not going to answer. I have to respect that. But I did at least ask it. You can't say I didn't, because I did. It's right there on video. And so ultimately, I feel better about it. And let me just say this about Dillion Danis. Do I agree with everything he says? No. Do I agree with the approach to selling this fight and the lengths in which he went to it? No. But hey, you know, even Logan himself seems to be at peace with it to a degree. And, you know, you can subscribe to the theory of all's fair in love and war. But I will say this, and I'll give him this compliment, and maybe he sees this and he could stop saying that I never compliment him. We have been critical of him. We've talked about him. We have said he can't, you know, not show up and all this stuff, and he really screwed up last time. The vast majority of fighters in this game would never show up on this show again, let alone in studio. The vast majority of them. Trust me, I know. It can be a very sensitive world, and this is coming from a sensitive guy. I'll give him a ton of credit. He showed up. He took shots. He received shots. He shook my hand and he walked out. Not a lot of people would do that. And so stripping away everything, I actually respected him a hell of a lot more after Monday, because I didn't think he would ever come back on, because I did think that it went into like a weird place. And even he said something, and this is the same thing that I would say about anyone else who has had a beef with me, Patty, Ali, as personal as it has ever gotten. I mean, this guy's coming up with like fake DMs from my wife. It doesn't get more personal than that, right? I would still, life is too short for this shit. Life is too short for this nonsense. Life is too short for this drama. I don't care. None of this matters. As long as we're all healthy and happy and able to live our lives and provide for ourselves and our family, nothing else matters. None of this matters. Tomorrow, everything could be different. So I'm not going to hold on to these grudges because those grudges to me are poisonous, toxic. I'm not going to hold that in my heart. Can you feel a certain way? Sure. But I do think it's important to move on and let bygones be bygones. And so I give him a ton of credit for showing up and for doing that. And sure, you could say like there's a benefit to him, but he's not getting pay-per-view points. So like he didn't have to do that. And sure, he's going to do media, and sure, he's trying to capitalize off of this. But like this particular one, he didn't have to do. Nothing would have changed really, right? So I think it's important to recognize that not a lot of people in his position and, who have been subjected to some of the stuff that we've said about him, I've said about him, tweeted about him, this and that, wouldn't have showed up. So I think that's worth noting and made me feel better about the way in which that interview ended, as opposed to the one back in 2022, in December of 2022. Great question, Moderator Lewis. I appreciate it very much. And I want to remind all of you that on Monday's show, we're going to have a fun announcement about Wednesday's show. So stay tuned for that. Appreciate Moderator Frank, Through the Frank Lens, Moderator, Mysterious Moderator. What is the name? I don't even know.
I mean, it's just everything now.
It's everything. Great job. Thanks for all the questions, my friends. Frank said he had a tough time whittling them down, but that was a solid list.